members of the administration of Georgia Tech Scheller College Business MBA program. We are glad to be here to present on how we can improve the quality of the MBA program. So, our proposal is to allow MBA students to test out of core classes.
Please ask us questions at any time throughout this presentation.
Thank you, Cameron. So, as you said, by allowing students to test out of core classes, we believe that the Scheller College Business MBA program will improve job placement. We know it's important. Right now, we're number 4. We want to go to number 1, and this proposal is going to take us there. By testing out of core classes, students will no longer waste time by duplicating their education on classes where they are already experienced. Students will be able to improve skills by taking more electives and being more involved in clubs. And finally, students will be able to spend more time on career development. I'm Andrew Dopp. I'm going to go through why students are wasting time by duplicating their education. This is my partner, Cameron Bradley. He's going to walk you through how students will improve by being more active in clubs and other activities, and how students will benefit from spending more time on their career development. Again, please ask any questions as we go through. So, the first point, students will no longer be wasting time by duplicating their education. I came from a finance background. I worked for 5 years in corporate finance and investment banking. Yet, I come into my first day of classes at Scheller College of Business, and I spend an hour and a half in a finance class. Every week, we spend a couple hours on finance case studies. It's material that I've learned, I know well, and frankly, I'm not learning anything new from it. It's a waste of time. Cameron, my partner here, majored in econ in college. He's taking econ right now. He worked as a data scientist, but he's still taking analytics. These are courses that we probably could have tested out of, and we could be using the time to do something else. So let's put some numbers behind it. The average credit hour costs between $1,300 and $1,700 per student. If every student from our class could test out just 1 credit on average, that would save the class somewhere between $108,000 and $141,000. That's a lot of money, not to mention the time that we're spending on these classes and our homework and projects on material that we're already well familiar with. So, by eliminating this inefficiency, we're going to give students more free time to participate in other activities, clubs, classes, career development. And for that, I will pass it over to Cameron.
Great, thank you. I want to talk about what students are going to be now doing with that free time that they have. Scheller has renowned classes, practicums, and club events. I want to go ahead and take some time to talk about some of these practicums. There's 11 of them. They actually give the students practical experience. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the business analytics practicum. What students are doing is they're actually taking a real project from Turner here in Atlanta, and they are applying data analytics skills. They're programming, they're learning regression analysis. They are doing some real-world things that are giving them some good skills and good things that can go on their resume. Employers like that. That's what they want to see. That's what's going to make the students more hireable, and is what's going to give them better jobs. And so that's going to increase Georgia Tech's ROI. I want to talk about the clubs. There is a cyber analytics think tank roundtable over at main campus for Georgia Tech. It's an awesome opportunity where students can actually go there as part of the Business Analytics Club and can network with professionals from Fortune 500 companies in the area. If students are bogged down with these classes and don't have time, they're not going to be able to take advantage of these great opportunities, which are going to make them those connections, going to teach them about the industry, and give them those skills that are going to make them more hireable and increase their ROI. So, and by students taking that time that they would have been in classes and now applying it to the club events and taking more of these practicums, these great classes, that's how their ROI is going to go up for Georgia Tech and for the students. So I want to go ahead now and talk about job placement and developing yourself professionally. Students can now take that time that they were stuck in those redundant classes, and they can focus on researching companies, attending information sessions, networking, practicing for cases and interviews. This makes Jim happy. Why? Because students are going to be better prepared to land those awesome jobs, which is going to help bring Georgia Tech students from number 4 to number 1 as far as job placement goes. I want to talk to you about coffee chats. Coffee chats are an opportunity for Georgia Tech students to actually reach out to alumni in different areas and get to find out about their company. I've done it myself. I reached out to Michael Carpenter at the Home Depot. Excellent experience. I got to know him really well, know the company. I feel prepared if I were to go into an interview. The problem is I'm stuck in these classes that I'm taking, these analytics classes, econ classes, that are a waste of time. Instead, I could be setting up 10 more coffee chats with tons of companies that I'm interested in, and that's going to increase, my ROI as a student and get me a better job, which makes Georgia Tech look better. That experience applies to all of the students in the program as well. So I'd like to turn it back over to Andrew to wrap up our presentation.
Thank you. Any questions at this time? No? None? Okay. To recap, job placement is important. It's maybe the top priority for students, and as well it should be for the administration. We want to go from number 4 to number 1. 4 to 1. There we go. So, 3 keys to this proposal to allow students to test out of core classes. Number 1, we're not going to waste time anymore by taking classes that we already know well. Number 2, we're going to improve skills by taking more electives and becoming more involved in clubs. That's going to increase our ROI. Number 3, we're going to spend more time on career development and job search. All of those factors are going to result in students getting better jobs, job placement rankings going up. The overall quality of the MBA program will improve because we'll have those higher job placement numbers. Student quality will improve. Students' ROI will improve over time. The program will be at a higher level. Our recommendation for next steps, we need to determine the process for exempting classes, which classes will qualify, how the test will be administered, and then we're going to reorganize the academic program accordingly, and students are going to have time and be able to go out there and get better jobs. Thank you.